So, some of you out there may be wondering, like, what happened to that Netflix live action Pokemon adaptation? Well, there's a little bit of news coming out about it, and, well, I don't know if it's great or not. See, for people like me, we grew up with Ash being like the main guy in Pokemon, but now it would seem that the Netflix live action adaptation is going to be, well, drawing more from the manga. If you didn't know, there was or is a Pokemon adventure manga. In fact, the first protagonist of it was Red. Now, if you don't know, Red was originally the first protagonist in the game. If you played Pokemon Red, you would be playing Red. That would be the main character. You didn't choose your name back then. At least to my knowledge, you didn't get it to choose your name. If you did, if you just defaulted, you got the Red was the default name, okay? I came on in silver, all right? Just be mad at me if you want, but I'm just one of those people. I came on in silver. Cyndaquil's the best Pokemon ever. I will fight you. But anyway, I digress. So here we have Pikachu, the notable mascot, right? And not Ash. I almost called him Ash, right? Because as you can tell, the two of them bear a striking resemblance here. As the animation company has admitted, Game Freak did in fact offer up Red as a source, a base design for inspiration for Ash. And well, took a little bit more than inspiration from him. You might note here, but as you can see, there's Ash right there, and he and Red look an awful lot alike. And in fact, when Ash is ready to fight, he spins his hat backwards too. Look at that. That's kind of fun, isn't it? Sorry, I didn't mean to cough in your ear. But here we go. So, if you don't know, in the Pokemon manga, you have the horror of being able to look in at teeny tiny little Pokemon who are pissed off about being stuck in tiny little balls where people can, like, fuck with you. Okay? I imagine in Japan this was quite adorable, and to help like the little gotcha machines that have the tiny little characters inside of them, and you put so many yen into the machine and it spits out this little orb that has a little Pokemon inside. People are like, "Oh, it's just like the manga. Very cool." I don't know, it creeps me out to think that there's a teeny tiny, like, Charizard or like Lugia or like that one that has like the god power to change time and space. Arceus, right? There's like a teeny tiny little Arceus in a ball as a kid shaking him around, like, come on, dance, do something interesting. I'm sorry, it's just every now and then, like, the idea is good on paper, and then you see it executed and you go, oh, wow, okay, that's why they didn't do that. And that's I don't know about you, but I'm a little disturbed about teeny tiny little Pokemon inside of. You can just see them. You just press the little button on it. Instead of releasing it, you get to look inside and be like, "Ah, screw you, Poliwhirl! Ah, screw you!" But anyway, I digress. Don't abuse Pokemon. That's bad. Okay, that was a joke. Don't do that. I'm like, it, what is that? Peppa, the people for the ethical treatment of Pokemon. I don't know, but anyway, I'm with Pep. People for the ethical treatment of Pokemon. PETA? No, that doesn't sound right. No, 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 nope, 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 nope. I'm not that part, not that part. But anyway, back to this Netflix thing, okay? So again, you might be wondering to yourself, why is Red the guy? Why is Red the character? Well, over the years, Ash didn't get a lot of character progression. As we've all noticed, Ash has been 11 years old for over 25 years now. And so he just recently won his first championship. Like, wow, kid, now you can go get your license, huh? May have your first beer, your first Pokemon beer, huh? What do they make Pokemon beer out of, huh? Like the special berries? I hope so. I hope it's not made out of, like, Oddishes, right? That would be weird if it was Oddishes. Anyway, the what has happened is that Ash, where he stayed stagnant in the anime, right, where he was just like, "Hi, I'm Ash, and I'm gonna get all the badges, and here's Pikachu, who's mildly interested in killing me," and that's been a fun thing. Team Rocket shows up, other groups that are of lesser memorability. I guess that's a word now. Memorable. Yeah, that's the word. Memorable. They're less memorable than Team Rocket showed up and did some haranguing, but that didn't last, obviously. You just can't beat me out, right? You just can't beat me out. But anyway, what's happened here is that over the years, as pointed out here with this manga page that I got distracted by, the Pokemon manga has like expanded on who Red is, what he thinks of the world, how he actually grew up and got a little bit older and progressed into being a more mature trainer, as opposed to what we see here. We're like, oh wow, that one has a bulb on its back. I wonder what its name is, and it's like right there. Bulbasaur. It even says its name. Like that's the thing with Pokemon, they say their name. It's like I wonder what its name is. Bulbasaur. Well, I guess we'll never know. I guess we'll never know. But that's see, Red's story has been more expansive, spread out into the world, and Ash just sort of kept the Pokemon mythos alive in anime form, really. I'm not really sure why they paused him. I know that it's fun to have like a shonen character, a young man character, but of all the franchises, Pokemon really lends itself to being the one that you can kind of swap out the guy in the lead anytime you like. People aren't there for Ash. I have news for you. As Netflix has discovered, people aren't there for Ash, and I doubt they're going to show up for Red. It's just going to be a unique thing. Like, oh wow, I thought Ash was the guy in Pokemon. Who's this Red guy? And that's where the intrigue stops because people aren't there for the humans. Well, maybe for Nurse Joy, maybe, but they're mostly not there for the humans. They're there for the Pokemon, right? So it doesn't really matter who the protagonist is in your anime, which is why it made it really weird that Ash just never grew up. Even Brock grew up. Even Brock was like, hey, I'm tired of these jelly donuts. I'm going to go back to being a gym leader and a breeder now. Think of that what you will. Bye. And he just left. Even Misty was like, I've had enough. This is weird. We're never going to get married. Bye, Ash. And she just left, took Starmie, Staryu, and that other one. And they were gone. Just like Psyduck. That's right, Psyduck. And they were gone. Just like that. And they were quickly replaced by that other guy and that girl with the blue hair. The less memorable companions. And that's kind of where Ash finds himself, is sort of like in this commercial malaise, if you will, where people are like, yeah, it's Ash. We know all about him because he's only ever been 11 years old. Now, if you take that character and try to like advance his age up into adulthood suddenly, it's going to look a little weird. It's going to feel weird to go from Ash, who doesn't have a driver's license, to suddenly tuning into live action Ash, played by like Pedro Pascal. So he looks like he's in his late 30s, early 40s or something like that, right? Where he's just sort of like, this is very adult Ash now. Very adult Ash. This is Ash who is concerned with his 401k now, right? Whereas you have like enough material with the manga to build out a story for Red that takes him from his origins of first discovering Pokemon and these see-through Pokeballs that are all kinds of weird. But, takes him from this place to when he's, I think, about 3 or 4 years older. I think he's 16, I think, later on in the manga when he finally gets his first championship win. So make of it what you will, right? That Ash isn't the main character or even going to be a character in the live action one. Honestly, I think it's a good idea. After all the years of having Ash and Pikachu being the central point of interest for the franchise, I suppose they could swap out Ash for Red. And as we've seen with the designs, not too many people will notice. As you could see, Ash wears a blue jacket, and Red wears a red jacket. And that's about it between the two. Oh, and fingerless gloves. Ash has the fingerless gloves. Good for him. And so you'll end up with your Pikachu character, right? Your live action Pikachu with all the fur that everybody wants to see Pikachu have, right? I don't know anybody out there that's like, man, I really want like a textured Pikachu, right? That's a problem with these live action adaptations, right? Like when we got live action Sonic, like I didn't want to see every fiber of fur on Sonic, right? I didn't want to know like the visual texture of Sonic the Hedgehog, right? Even less so with any of his adversaries, right? Or any of his companions. Like, I'm not looking forward to how, like, the highly detailed Shadow is going to be. I'm not really looking forward to that one. But again, you're dealing with Pokemon. They're meant to be animals, but I think when you leave the anime kind of styling here, where it's just sort of smooth and a little bit of patchy marker ends, kind of giving the shadow and depth to the Pokemon's appearance of Pikachu, right? I think when you abandon that smooth look and you start adding in like hair bristles and all these different um, physical manifestations that happen with like a real life animal, like the gloss on the nose where it's got a little bit of like wet to it, right? Because the wet nosed dogs and stuff. You get a little bit of that going on, and it's just there's too much to look at, I guess, or just kind of takes away from the design of the creature itself, where the real parts of it become the focus rather than the creature's design, I guess. I don't know. That's really what I'm talking about. In Detective Pikachu movie, I kept forgetting that I was looking at a Pikachu. It just having it so hyper realistic just it kind of stole away from the fact that it was supposed to be a Pikachu. And so that's the only worry I have about this is that, as per usual, our obsession in the West with these perfect, beautiful graphics that look one to one reality, like that pointless Lion King movie that looks like a National Geographic documentary, completely forgetting the actual whimsical nature of the Lion King movie, but whatever. They've got the technology to make it look like a National Geographic documentary. Might as well do it, right? So this is what you're looking at with the Netflix live action adaptation. Whereas, again, in Japan, you're dealing with a culture that's a lot more forgiving with these sort of special effects. I guess would be the best way to put it. The graphic effects, because as you saw, the Godzilla -1 is a mixture of miniature sets as well as the CGI, and the CGI is not exactly perfect, right? But that again, it didn't distract from the process of watching the movie. It didn't distract from the entertainment value. And I feel like the hyper real Pokemon are going to do that. So it would be smart if they figured out a way to explain why they look so fake, if you will. But I'm not so sure people will care. So long as they don't look like N64 graphics, I think it'll be fine. If you don't get into that weird hyper detailed thing that first Sonic had there that really looked more like Zac Efron than Sonic, right? Go look at that picture, right? That looks like Zac Efron. It really does. It's weird. It unsettles me how much that first Sonic looks like Zac Efron. It's almost like they wanted him to voice the Sonic character. It's almost like they wanted that, but I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, back to Pokemon. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below about this. I am okay with it. I think it's a good idea to shift away from Ash and to expand out into the Pokemon world a little bit further than what his merry band of trainers and breeder. Wow, that is weird to say, right? That's really weird. Nobody thought that through, right? We got some trainers and breeders here. Nobody thought about that, right? Now, when you throw like the Pokemon trainers and Pokemon breeders, it seems a little less insidious, but man, it's still really weird, right? To think that old Brock's out there trying to get two Dittos to make a third one, right? So, and then there's also Ditto, right? Like, how creepy is that in the breeding process? Just so strange. It's too much thought, right? And I really hope that they don't get into that because the problem with live action stuff is you start asking those questions, like, how does that work? You know, it's just you start asking a lot of strange questions when you start getting into the real life part of it, because you have to start answering them as you start representing real life Pokemon. So it's a little, I don't know. Maybe they should take a chapter from the Speed Racer movie. You guys remember the Speed Racer movie, right? I love that Speed Racer movie. It's like the perfect movie ever, okay? Let me know down in the comments how great the Speed Racer movie is, okay? How great it is, all right? The perfection of the Speed Racer movie. We'll just reminisce over that rather than the Pokemon stuff, right? Anyway, let me know how you feel about this whole Pokemon thing down in the comments below. Speed Racer 2 if you feel like it, or if you just want to let us know you've subscribed, let us know too. Anyway, we'll see you in the next video, and until then, good luck out there.